Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here and welcome to this video where today we're going to use some CAREFREE and we're going to make a graduation card. What I did is I took a jump off idea from a class that Heidi Swapp teaches on HeidiSwappShop.com. It's called Surprise Inside. So you're going to have to take the class to actually know what is the inspiration behind this from her. And I'm using for this one, just to show you what I did, I have this all decked out in ArtWalk. And so it comes with the flap, and then there's another card inside. And I chose to have some embellishment overhang, which I think is a lot of fun. And so the recipient continues to open this. And when you open this, it just simply opens to the gift card holder, because I am a big fan. Let me tell you why I do this. I'm a big fan in the card is the gift. And I've been doing that for a long time. I have several videos on my channel with big cards, tag cards, whatever kind of cards. And I just love to make the card the gift. And it's just a great idea. So I grabbed this CAREFREE paper pad, 12 by 12. Pattern paper, single-sided. There are 36 patterns. Nope, 36 sheets. There are one of each of this set of patterns and two of each of this set of patterns. Okay, so to get started, you're going to need the paper pad, 12 by 12 paper pad. And if you're following along at home, I have a list of supplies below, and I'm also going to walk through what I'm using as well. Of course, we have to invite vellum to the party, right? And so grab a sheet of vellum and then whatever embellishments you want. And we'll do embellishments later. I used the pocket punch board. You don't have to. You can make your own pocket inside. I'm just a fan of this, and so I wanted to share the using of this with you. Of course, you're going to need adhesive. I'm a huge fan of the 1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch. The 1/8 inch will for sure be used quite a bit. Grab you those. I have an old hole punch here, circle punch. Don't judge me. It's just what works, and I haven't replaced it yet. Of course, you're going to need scissors. And what really helps this project come together is a cutting board and scoreboard. It doesn't have to be an all-in-one. It could just be a paper trimmer that you use to score, or use both, or whatever you have. Use what you have. Okay, so let's get started on this, shall we? Now, to start, we're going to make the outer vellum envelope. And so, of course, you're going to need vellum. That is going to be sized at 6 inches wide by 8.5 inches long, which this already is. So you just only have to cut one sheet of that. Okay, I'm going to start with these two patterns from the 12 by 12 paper pad. And I need these both to be 5 inches by 8 inches. So that is 5 and then 8, and then do a second pattern as well. And again, 5 inches by 8 inches. And save all your cutoffs. We will very easily return to those again inside of the card itself. So take the vellum and score 1/2 inch around 3 sides. The 2 long sides and the 1 short side rather. And go ahead and fold those on their score. I might have said fold earlier, but I need you to score it first and then we can fold it. This is going to be the front of this envelope. And I do like to grab my scissors and cut some of this out to alleviate the bulk when you do fold it over the cardstock, which is what you're going to see here in a moment. Here's the front. You have the pattern, which is going to be actually the back of the envelope. And then we're going to use adhesive to then adhere the back piece. For this, I'm going to use a tape runner. Make sure all your pieces in. And I often have to go back here when I'm done and kind of just trim the vellum a little bit. I can't say that I am that well equipped in folding and scoring or cutting anything straight. It's a miracle that I even am in the paper crafts making because it's just a thing. But that's what scissors are for. I'm taking my old-fashioned, old clunky hole punch here. I'm going to just punch a half. And all of a sudden, this doesn't want to work. Maybe it's a sign. It's a sign to replace the old hole punch. I get that. It happens. Okay, let's just clean this up and then we're done with this first part. Okay, so beautiful fun envelope. Okay, why do I love the vellum front envelope? Because I'll show you in a little bit. Well, you can see on here, I love to bring and dye my seam binding or ribbon and just make this all super pretty with those layers behind it. Oh, I just love it so much. Okay, that's part one. Okay, for the next part of this card, I need to make the card holder itself. So I'm going to cut a 4.5 by 8-inch piece for my flap. I'm going to cut it out of this floral paper here. So this needs to be 4.5 and then 8 inches tall. Then this also needs to be 4.5 by 8 inches tall. And at this point, we can go ahead and build our pocket. The pocket is going to come from another pattern. Okay, on this now, we need a pocket here in the lower portion. I'm going to be using this pattern paper for my pocket. I need it to be 5.5 inches wide because it's going to be wrapping around the back side of that paper, and then 4.5 inches tall, which it already is. Okay, so this is how the pocket's going to be sitting. So this side needs a 1/2 inch, the opposite side needs a 1/2 inch, the bottom needs a 1/2 inch score. Score and fold. Then we're going to form our pocket. There are so many different ways to make pockets. This is just one of them. I'm going to wrap around just like we did the vellum. Oh, isn't that gorgeous together? I love the combination. Now on this piece, let's make sure our flowers are going in the right direction. I'm of the opinion that they're sitting up this way. And I need to have a score at the top of this at the 2-inch mark. Get that edge nice and creased. And then this will then fold over to be part of that. I'm of the opinion this needs to be backed up. I won't put quite as much adhesive on the flap because we're going to seal this. And remember, we backed our envelope earlier with a piece of pattern paper. That is just sitting here off to the side, wondering where it's going to be used again. See inside our vellum, the backer part of our vellum, still have that left over. So I'm going to trim it down to back this as well. It's not necessarily going to be seen. It'll definitely be a great reinforcement. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead. I'd rather trim this piece here than attach it and trim it. I just don't want to take the chance of slicing off part of my corner. Not that I have ever done that before. So this just needs to get trimmed out to its 4.5 by 8. And then this now goes right on the back of here. A great reinforcement to the card portion of our card. And hopefully this chomps a little better this time. Note to self, purchase new hole punch. Okay, so this is basically part 2 of this. And I'm going to grab the envelope from earlier. What I like too about having this all covered is it's nice and smooth on the back. It's just going to slide right in and not get caught on anything. And I love having the floral come through on that vellum. I think it is gorgeous. So to the next part. Okay, so now we're to this 3-fold card, and super straightforward card that is. Let me show you what I did to craft that. I have this scrap left over, and it is 12 inches long, so I'm going to need to actually cut it. I want it to be 7 inches tall, which is almost exactly, yep, because I already took 5 inches off the one side, so it is now 7 inches tall, and I just need to make it 11 inches long. Okay, with that face down and the 11-inch along my score grid, I'm going to score at 3.5 and then at 7.5. And that's all it is to create the trifold card that sits right inside the middle pocket or under the flap. I guess would be more correct to say that it fits under the flap. And guess what I'm going to do? Yep, handy old hole punch. Ta-da! And you can see this is going to fit inside here. And this is what's going to hold the pocket that holds the gift card. So kind of fun. And obviously you're seeing all these great surfaces to add embellishments. My favorite part. Okay, so now let's craft the pocket. And this is where the We Are Memory Keepers pocket punch board has come in handy for me. If you're not familiar with this wonderful punch board, it is a dutiful tool in my arsenal. It comes with instructions on how to use either a notched out pocket or a flapped pocket. Super fun. And then you get instructions for basically a measurement guide for all manner of sizes. I like to use a Post-it note to keep me lined up on the line that I'm going to be using. So for example, the pocket size I know I want is 3.25 by 4, and it tells me my paper size is going to need to be 7 by 5.5. So let me make sure that this is 7 by 5.5, and it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to trim this to 7 by 5.5. The next guidance that this shows me are guide labels. It says for my numbers to be at number 2 with the arrow down, and on the alpha part to be at the D with the arrow pointing this way. Then I take the long length of my scrap of paper and the cutter and cut right along that corner, and then I flip it, get that scrap out of the way, I flip it to do the other corner. Then it has extending arms that I'm going to pull out. Just going to stick this right back in there. There are score grooves. So I'm going to lift that cutting arm and just score where it already shows me to do that. So at the bottom, because I'm doing a notched pocket, I just need to do the side, and I've already done the bottom. So 3 sides there. And just make sure you have good homes for your guides, because you will be referring to them often. And again, like all the supplies here in this video, this is linked below. And then just going to create some great creases here on this pocket. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, it just makes it so beautiful. Okay, so, and one more magical thing that the punch board does is you can pop it into this top groove, and yep, it makes a little thumb hole for you. And that's the pocket punch board. I'm going to use the 1/4 inch again to reinforce this pocket nicely at the back of the trifold card. And pulling these off, then I'm just going to decide on exactly where I would like this to live. The final piece that needs to be made demonstrate here with my already completed card, is the actual part that holds the gift card. For me, I'm going to use this floral pattern again, which I think is beautiful. And for this, I want to have a 3x12 swatch of paper. And you're going to see this is where the 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive comes in. And then again, I need to now score this at 3 inches and then at 8 inches. This first 3-inch score here is where you're going to make your next pocket. How many ways have we made pockets today? I think we're up to about 4 different ways to make a pocket. I'm loving it. Okay, all we need for this pocket are 2 of the sides of this pattern paper to be adhered down. All right, perfect. I'm just going to show you how perfect here. That just goes in there. Nice and secure. Then this is going to come over. Then this slips in here. You have this beautiful flap, and you've got patterns showing through. That's beautiful. You have a great space here for embellishing.